The 2022 Subaru WRX is finally here. The internet hated it and gave it a bad welcome. I'm here to find out today with you guys, is it a better car than those that came before it? I've already reviewed the interior and exterior. I'll put a link in the description down below as well as a tag up top. But I want to find out if this new global platform is better than the cars that came before it. So let's hop in the driver's seat and let's take it for a spin and let's find out. Alright guys, let's do a drive test, guys. We're going to do a 0 to 60 launch and then go up some windy corners. I hope you like it. Alright guys, let's do a little launch. This car is about 5.5 seconds to 60. She's quick. Alright, now what I want to show you guys is these corners up here. And there is a limit to the suspension handling, which the package feels very dynamic out of the box. Perfect amount of horsepower, braking. Feel it just a little bit in the rear. Just a little soggy. A little bit of like floatiness over that corner. Yeah, this thing is a very balanced, very dynamic package, and I think that I'm very happy with the car, especially after owning like a Skyline GTR and having it need to constantly have work on for the last 5.5 years that I've owned it. It's never had a long period of time where there hasn't been an issue with it, and it's nice just to have brand new. I do have some 18-inch Volk CE28 wheels that I installed on this, if you guys want to watch that video. They're 18x9 plus 35 offset, running a 245 35/18 tire, I think, or it might be a 235/40. They're out of a 2018 STI. All right, here we go. Pulls hard all the way to red line. But like your brake entry, it's good. It stays flat through the corner. Little ABS there. But coming into here, for like this corkscrew, you can kind of feel the rear end get a little swirly. And to me, the stock suspension feels perfect, except for the end links feel like they're a little spongy. So I got to get some solid ones. But yeah, I mean, it handles incredibly. So much fun out of the box. You could definitely get yourself in some trouble. I'm going to stop driving like a maniac now. I just wanted to show what this thing was capable of. I wanted to talk about this thing over bumps. The suspension dampening does a very good job at soaking up the bumps on the road. Like, you feel them, but it's not uncomfortable, it's not harsh, it's composed. And I think it's the perfect amount of trade. The spring rate feels perfect to keep the car stable, but it's still comfortable enough to drive in town as a daily. and it's not you know, so bumpy and rough that it's going to be irritating to like me if I try to take my wife out for a date or something like that and take her for a ride in the car. She's not going to hate it. So to me, I think that's really cool. I think it's really well balanced. Good job, Subaru. I love the fact that little hood scoop there, it's very clean, it's very wide. It reminds me of the hood scoop on the 02 WRX. When I look, you know, out the windshield, I just see that little notch of the hood scoop, and it just reminds me of the old car. Now, as far as the boost, this has an electronic wastegate, and basically, I'll show you guys how to me it seems like you get full boost at about 2,400 RPMs. So the boost comes in pretty quick. My only complaint I'd have so far is the driver's seat. Sometimes it squeaks. If you go over bumps, it like squeaks like an old seat, and the car only has 3,500 miles on it that I've driven it. So there's another WRX. And if you guys are wondering at the pump, when I drove this thing down to California, I was doing about 80 miles an hour over the pass from Oregon through California, and I got 26 miles a gallon. Being back home and just daily driving it, kind of mixed driving through city, freeway, commuting back and forth to work, about 26 miles each way each day, I get about 27.1 miles per gallon, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. But listen to this thing on the freeway, guys. We're going 60 miles an hour. Get a little bit of the exhaust sound. But the road noise is so much better in this than the old cars. That is the biggest thing to me. It doesn't feel so cheap and loud in here. It's a nice smooth cruising car. So I'm gonna use this as my daily driver. I'm going to slightly modify it. My plans are to, you know, do some body kit stuff, do an exhaust system, get the suspension done, and kind of lightly modify it to be able to be a good daily driver as well as occasional track use. But if you guys are wondering what am I thinking about this car, I think it's very well balanced. Like I was saying when I was driving through the corners, the amount of acceleration, the amount of braking, to the amount of handling, and everything, it's a very well-balanced package. And for just a base model WRX, I'm highly impressed. You guys should definitely test drive one. And we'll get back home and we'll take one more look at this vehicle before we end today's video. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the 2022 WRX. I wasn't a big fan of the styling personally when I first bought the car. It kind of grown on me when I first saw it at the auto show back in November. I hated this car. I thought it was the ugliest thing I'd ever seen. But I've owned a brand new 2001 2.5 RS, and I drove that for 6 months. That car was, it's still my favorite overall chassis for the WRX. It's small, it's like an Integra Type R, but it doesn't have all-wheel drive, it doesn't have turbo. It's a cool car, but the 2.5 RS to me is kind of the pinnacle, because it's small, it's light, it's a two-door coupe. I wish Subaru would bring something back like that, like a BRZ with all-wheel drive and turbo would be like kind of like a new GC8, but that's not going to happen. I've also driven a 2002 WRX, and this thing compared to that, the 02 WRX came with 16-inch wheel stock. It came with some like, what I think they were only like 6.5-inch wide wheels or something like that, with like 205 series tires. That suspension, when you'd brake, would like lurch forward. When you accelerate, it would jump back. Through the corners, it was very sloppy. I've also owned a Legacy 2.5 GT. I've owned a 2000, that was 2006. I also owned a 2006 WRX STI. So I've had quite a few Subarus. I thought about purchasing a 2017 STI. I test drove it. And the thing I didn't like about that versus this when you drive it, there's a lot of revisions that has been made to the body as far as like aerodynamics. I'll show you like just like the windshield wipers, how they're tucked in. You've got like the trim on the top of the windshield is basically flat, so you don't get that noise from the air blowing over. And then if you look at the underside of the car, you've got a bunch of body under paneling to cut down the wind noise and the wind resistance. There's also more insulation on the inside of the cabin. And then this is the new global platform, which has more structural rigidity And so to me, the entire car overall feels more premium. It doesn't feel as inexpensive or cheap like the old ones did. And you'll have to drive one to experience for yourself. So I wanted to do a little bit of wet acceleration from a dead stop, floored. So perfect acceleration. Car doesn't slip at all in the rain. Just a good little test for you guys. This is the best part of a WRX, is driving in the rain with the all-wheel drive. This thing just crushes. There's no hydroplane, it's safe. When you live in the Pacific Northwest, if there's any rain or snow, this is the tool to get the job done. And I've really missed my WRX. I haven't had one in 15 years. The one thing I do notice is the steering. It's an electronic steering rack this year on the new, well, it has been for a while, but there's really not a lot of feedback that comes through the steering wheel, which is kind of good. I mean, if you're, you know, driving, you don't want to feel the bumps in the freeway, if you don't want to feel like the ruts in the road, it doesn't pull the steering wheel back and forth, which is nice, like hydraulic steering, but you lose that sense of feedback and that sense of feeling while driving. But as far as the driving experience, this thing is awesome in the rain and in the snow and in the dry and everything. One of my favorite things with this car is the headrest. If you look here, it's adjustable. You can click it forward and get your head position exactly the way you want, which is a really cool touch. And then the seats themselves, they really hold you in around the corners, which is really nice. Another thing that's really cool is if you look in the display there, it shows you which gear selection you're in, which is really cool. So like third gear, if you watch the RPM, the boost comes on pretty quick. Like right around 2,500 RPMs, you can kind of feel this thing really coming alive. And we're gonna test the launch in the rain. Plenty of traction. Bit of a exhaust pop there, but yeah, I mean, just driving this thing at you know, normal speeds, normal RPMs, it's smooth, it's composed. This thing is awesome in the rain. You can go full gas, full throttle, pedal to the floor, and there's no loss of traction with the amount of horsepower that this car has. Yeah, let's try this. So coming into this corner, brake, it's feels very planted, but it does need a little bit of suspension tuning to get to where I want it to be. It doesn't handle like my GTR. It does feel like it does at first, but when you push it, you can feel the instability. Well guys, we are back home with the 2022 WRX, and this is going to be the end of today's video. And to answer the question, is the new 2022 WRX better than the old models it's replacing? In my opinion, after driving it, I would say absolutely yes. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of the exterior styling of the car at first, but after, you know, taking the time to actually look at all the body lines, see all the contours, see all the shape and the dimensions, it reminds me a lot more of the 22B, with all the design language it's put into the body. And I think, you know, like I say, once you do a little bit of painting, once you get the car actually lowered and you get the, you know, some of this plastic stuff taken care of and add a few things here and there, I think you can make this platform look pretty damn awesome. And I'm not saying that this car is perfect, but it's definitely an evolution ahead from what we're used to before, and it is definitely better. I have driven a lot of Subarus over the last, you know, 20 years of owning them, and in my opinion, this is the best one. And the video kind of shows you why. So you guys leave me some comments down below. Let me know, hey, what do you guys think of this car? The new FA24, being that it's only running like 9 pounds of boost, as you can see in the boost gauge, you can feel that this car is going to have a lot more potential. And it's very well dialed with the power level that it is. Once, you know, you do some more stuff to it, get it tuned, it's going to be just as good, if not better, than the old STI, in my opinion. You've got direct injection, you've got variable valve timing, you've got an equal length header, you've got so much more different efficiencies and more technology in this engine to make this platform a better car. And when you match that with the brand new global platform with torsional and structural rigidity, it is a hell of a dynamic package. So when your wife sends you to the grocery store, that makes that easier. The back seat, like the full video review I did. If you guys, want a car you can have fun with but still put your family in and not be cramped, I think that this is awesome. And if you get in, like, what is it, the Hyundai Elantra N, if you sit in that car, my head touches the ceiling in that car. There's no space for me. I'm 6'1". I sat in that car, thought of buying one. It just is not practical for me. I need all-wheel drive. I like the way all-wheel drive handles versus, front-wheel drive. And I just think that this is, if you compare this to a Civic or an Volkswagen GTI, I wouldn't even consider buying those cars, but that's just me. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. You let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree with me? Is this the best WRX that Subaru has ever made? I think once you guys drive it and you get in the seat and you take it around a few corners and step on the gas, you will feel the new global platform is better. The torsional rigidity and structural rigidity is definitely improved, giving the car a more planted, more solid feeling in the corners. It feels more premium. It just feels more refined. That's really the only way to say it. But I hope you guys like this video. Leave me some comments down below. I spent a lot of time trying to edit it and make this video real good for you guys, give you guys a lot of different angles, lots of perspectives, unlike anything I've done before. So leave me some comments, smash the thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe for more content. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.